Tashidile, everyone. So we'll begin today's session on the 3-day teaching we have on recognizing the mother, a song on the experience of the middle way view, led by Venerable Geshe Damdul, Director of Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And with this, I would also like to welcome Miss Anna Gregla and Miss Yenla, who will be leading today's prayer session. And without any further ado, I would like to request Anna to begin with the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Kungala, and welcome everyone. It's an amazing turnout. What started as small has grown. I think we've got 24 countries represented, which is very exciting. And here in Australia, which we're trying to sort of use this opportunity to bring ourselves together here on this big country, and New Zealand as well, our neighbours, bringing everyone together to create the conditions for being able to meet more often and support each other in our Tibet House studies. So thank you to the Australians. I think we have 31, and New Zealanders, sorry. New Zealanders will understand that. I think we have 31 of us here, which is wonderful. And we have, I believe, about 14 new people. So just a special thank you to everyone new who's come on board, who hasn't had a connection with Tibet House before or has had limited experience. And in fact, actually, we've got 32 who are new to Tibet House, full stop. So this is a real treat for you to make a connection with our precious teacher, Geshe Dorji Damdul, who is an incredible teacher with a great amount of skill. And we're very fortunate to have these teachings in English. And we'll find out a little bit more about some of Tibet House's programs towards the end of the retreat. So I would also, of course, like to thank Tibet House staff for this opportunity. And I mean, they've done a lot of the work in the background, as you can appreciate, bringing us all together and making this possible, and obviously working with Geshe to choose a fantastic topic, which I think for many of us who are Geshe students will appreciate how important this particular text is, particularly to Geshe, and hopefully, Geshe, you might explain your connection with this teaching and how you received it from your teachers, for those who haven't heard that story before, because it's quite precious. So I don't want to take up too much time because that's going to eat into our teachings. I think I've said everything I need to. I would just say, because we're a relatively small group with 180 people registered, I would encourage people, if you can, I know you can't always, to put your camera on so that Geshe can see us and interact with us. For those of you who are new, usually we do questions at the end of the session, so there'll be time for that. But Geshe will obviously invite any questions or comments or anything throughout the teachings as well. So like I said, I don't want to take any more time. I will hand over, and if there's anything I've missed, Kungala, please jump in, or Yenla, and I'll hand over to you and to Geshe.
Thank you, Anala. So Tashidele, everyone. Let's begin by setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts, while being mindful of both aspects, the objects being visualized and the manner in which you visualize it. First, the refuge view. In a space in front of you, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or any other enlightened beings you regard with veneration. They are looking upon you with immense kindness and unconditional love, just as mother looks upon her only child. Next, the Bodhicitta view. Visualize seated on either side of you, your kind parents, mother on the left and father on the right. Additionally, you are accompanied by all other dear mother sentient beings, leaving none aside, and you are leading them in this practice. Next, the purpose of the practice is to manifest the Buddha nature within you, which is the ultimate source of happiness, by removing the two mental obscurations, afflictive obscurations consisting of the afflictions of negative emotions, contaminated karmas, and their correspondent active seeds, and the cognitive obscurations, the subtle stains, which are the inactive latencies of the afflictions and contaminated karmas. Let's recite the following verses while mentally invoking the profound meanings and associated experiences. And choose by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views to you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And choose by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views to you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And choose by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views to you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. Sangye Chuetang Choki Chotnam La, Changchu Partu Dani Kapsuchi, Daki Jinso Gibe Chotnam Ki, Dola Penchel Sangye Dupa Shok. Sangye Chuetang Choki Chotnam La, Changchu Partu Dani Kapsuchi, Daki Jinso Gibe Chotnam Ki, Dola Penchel Sangye Dupa Shok. Sangye Chuetang Choki Chotnam La, Changchu Partu Dani Kapsuchi, Daki Jinso Gibe Chotnam Ki, Dola Penchel Sangye Dupa Shok. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there's no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which, through the knowledge of all, lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, which, through the knowledge of parts, causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher Sugata, the protector, to you I make prostration. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today, in the Buddha's presence, I generate a mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Now let's recite the essence of dependent origination mantra along with Venerable Geshe-la's recording.
Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha.
Meaning of the Trendo Nimbo mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddha, so 3 times I pay obeisance. The 4 seals of Buddha's teaching. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminate things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha. The Guru is the Dhamma. Likewise, the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddha of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Instruction on parting from the 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there's grasping, you do not have the view. Now let's recite the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you, who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that braces in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you, I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you, I prostrate. Thus free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you, I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the Tathagata, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all saints, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Now let's recite the Heart Sutra mantra 7 times, along with Venerable Geshe-la's recording.
Deya Thavam Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha 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 Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha.
Bien. Okay. Thank you, Anna Greg, and thank you, Ian La, and thank you, Kunga Chindenla and Tenzi Ravianla. So here we have the online, offline participants both are there. And the Anna La, since about 1 or 2 months ago, made the request that this teaching be given to the Australian group. And then, of course, now, because of the easy access for anyone, anywhere in the world. So this is happening primarily at the request of Anna Gregg, who I've known for the last many years, and her love for Dharma and seeking purpose of life. These are something greatly inspirational. And then there are many Australians here from Australia who are also likewise into the Dharma. And this reminds me of my own teacher. So before we do the Aspiration Bodhisattva vow, it reminds me of my teacher, Venerable Nalanda Bodhicitta, who was a lifelong hermit in Dharamsala when I was a little boy. And of course, he passed away, I think about like 20 years ago, 21 years ago. And so in those days, I was so fond of science, particularly physics, mathematics. And I started to have a very disturbing dreams. And because of which, I knew that some of my seniors, meaning those who are in class 11, they must be age 18 or 19. I must be age 16. And the seniors, I knew that they were going to the hermitage to seek advice, receive teachings from Gelam Rinpoche. And because of that, then I sent a message, not really as a message, sought an appointment. And then I got a message back saying that yes, you can meet Gelam Rinpoche on the coming Sunday. So I went there on time. And the first thing that Gelam Rinpoche told me, Gelam Rinpoche was totally, I would say, not at all having any exposure to modern education. And yet, look at this. When somebody understands the Buddha teachings of Buddha so well, they become extremely pragmatic and realistic and objective, and very open-minded. This is amazing. So what he said was that in fact, my senior must have informed Ginnimisha that, oh, that we have one junior, a boy who is a junior, and who's doing good in studies, and he wants to ask some questions to you. So this must be the information passed on to Ginnimisha. And Ginnimisha, when upon seeing me, gave me a little, say, little serious, because the information given by the my senior. And then the first thing Ginnimisha told me was very striking. So what Ginnimisha said was that the Dorji, if you don't have any suffering, if you don't have any miseries, no need of dharma. Dharma is not required. This is something extremely the pragmatic and the somebody who is very open-minded person can say. Otherwise, the ritualistic or spiritual or religious people will have some kind of bias because of one's own belief system. And then you will appreciate, oh, they're so good that you're in this, you're very meritorious. But he didn't say that. If you don't have any problem, no need to come for Dharma. That's amazing. There was the, like, 2 years since I was more exposed to the concept of the questioning attitude. Why, how, when, which, what, and so forth, as such that it really appealed my thinking. And then I just started to ask whatever questions that I had in my mind. So this is just a little bit of, say, the starting point for all of us. So with this in mind, I can see that most of you are already familiar with the Tibet House programs, Nalanda Master's course, Nalanda Diploma course, and also the Nalanda Certificate course. And many of you also attended the retreats, the Bodhicitta retreats, and other retreats. So therefore, you know what we do with respect to taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. So what we do is that the mentally first we'll generate a very strong invoke a very strong feeling of bodhicitta, wishing to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings. Number one. Then number two, verbally we will say this 3 times. Then number 3, we'll recite the verses which were composed by the highly enlightened masters in ways to mold the shape, realign our mind pertaining to the mind from a very destructive or extremely unhappy state of mind to a very happy state of mind, which is compassionate mind. So this is what we're going to do. And then what is enlightenment? How do we know that we can attain enlightenment? All these things will fall in the main body of the text or the teaching. And then meanwhile, as Anna Gregg already explained, that we are going to have half an hour question answer session at the end of the teaching. I don't know how Anna Gregg is going to identify so preference will be given to the Australians. So I don't know how Anna Gregg is going to identify the Australians who will be the ones to ask questions. Then in case if there are no questions from the Australians, and then the others, you can also ask questions. Okay, so we'll have like half an hour at the end of the session or the 3-day session. Okay, so with this in mind, first mentally and particularly those who are new, for the first time you are attending this talk, you may not feel like, okay, what I'm saying, what I'm doing does not really resonate with what I'm thinking. So what we are doing collectively, that is something, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings and so forth. It doesn't really resonate. My mind doesn't really reflect that thought process. And don't worry. Don't worry. Don't take it too seriously. And if you are already familiar with this, well and good. If not, don't take it too seriously. Just see what is happening. And then if you have any questions, in fact, I would be most happy that you have any questions which bother you, with respect to enlightenment, with respect to the Buddhist concepts and so forth. I'll be very happy to entertain those questions as well. Okay, with this in mind, let us first mentally invoke the spirit, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all demon sentient beings. And next, verbally as well, we will say this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Okay, with this mind, let's recite the following verses together. And for those who are new to this program, the purpose, we need to remember the purpose of reading these verses. As we read the verses, we're not just doing a ritual. We read these verses, making sure that the meanings are reflected in the mind. If the meanings are not reflected, then the benefit is going to be much less. So when the meanings are reflected, then your mind is actually being transformed slowly, gradually. The mind is transformed from very unhappy state to a happy state of mind. When you are very cynical versus when you're compassionate. When you're cynical, your mind is so disturbed. When your mind is compassionate, your mind is more at ease and calm. So this is a transformation that is intended by these practices. And imagine that you are leading this practice, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas that are watching us, who actually they proceeded through these paths of cleansing one's mind of the mental defilements, and finally having attained the total state of fearlessness and infinite happiness for oneself, and having the potential, having the qualities attained to lead all other beings to that state. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge and turn my enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Sangha. I generate the mind of Bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests and shall engage in the delightful and excellent practices of full enlightenment. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge and turn my enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Sangha. I generate the mind of Bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests, and I shall engage in delightful and excellent practices of full enlightenment. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge and turn my enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Sangha. I generate the mind of Bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests and shall engage in the delightful and excellent practices of full enlightenment. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the Nalanda Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the Bodhisattva predecessors, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the Nalanda Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva predecessors. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the Nalanda Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the Bodhisattva predecessors, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the Nalanda Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva predecessors. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the Nalanda Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the Bodhisattva predecessors, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the Nalanda Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva predecessors. Okay, 5 minutes meditation, 5 minutes breathing meditation, and I'm very confident that most of you are already aware, already familiar with the meditation. So I will not give specific instructions. We'll just directly do the meditation. Okay, 5 minutes. Thank you. I think it was 2008 when His Holiness was invited to give a public talk in Delhi University. At the end of the talk, to the question and answer session, a girl asked His Holiness as to what is the purpose of life. And I'm sure that many of us, most of us here, perhaps all, we have the same question. What's the purpose of life? And His Holiness the Dalai Lama, without any second thought, said that we live on hope and we hope for happiness. Therefore, the genuine happiness is the purpose of life. So in this line, again, say a friend of mine who is very serious, someone who's extremely decent and serious, one asked me, what's the purpose of practicing the Dharma? This was his question. What's the purpose of practicing the Dharma? Then I said, to attain enlightenment and so forth. And he said that this is it does not seem right. He was not too happy. And then finally I said that, then if you're not happy with that, then another answer would be to meet with your true nature, to manifest your true nature. He was so happy. So these two are actually the same. To attain enlightenment or to meet, to manifest your true nature, to meet or to manifest your true nature. Let me give an example of a vast ocean. Sometimes this ocean is extremely serene, tranquil, and placid. And other times it can be extremely turbulent. And is there anybody who likes to share with us as to which of the two you would qualify as the natural state of the ocean, which accords with the natural state of the ocean, the turbulence that you see on the ocean, or the ocean which is so peaceful, serene, and tranquil? Which of the two you would classify as natural? Anyone quick? Anyone of the the Australians, non-Australians, both? Anyone? Oh, no one. Okay. The Kim Louis.
Geshe, in general, I believe the ocean is calm and tranquil and, not up and down, not a lot of waves.
Okay. So they no ferocious waves, tranquil, serene. That is the natural state of the ocean. Okay. Sharda, what do you think? Yes, Sharda, what do you think?
I was going to say the same, the peaceful.
Same.
Geshe,
Okay. Okay, how many of you agree with both of them? Kim Louis and Sharda, raise hands. How many of you agree? Very good. Okay, my next question. So every time the first question is a very simple one. Then the second question a little more complicated. Oh, second question. Why do you think that the placid, the serene, and the tranquil ocean is more natural as opposed to the turbulent and the ocean? Why? Anyone? Why? Why do you describe the turbulent ocean as not the natural state of the ocean? Why? Why not? Quick, anyone? Quick? Why not? Quick? Offline, online? Oh, so offline here, they're very aggressive. They want to give answers here and there. So online, right? I like to give the chance to online first. Online, they're more calm, serene. Okay, online, no one.
Maybe Geshe, because nature of the ocean.
Okay, raise hands. Who's that?
This is Sanjay Manaktala. That is a
Okay,
nature of the.
Sanjay. Yes, Sanjay ji.
I'm saying this is the nature of the ocean to be calm and but when there is a turbulence like in the lunar eclipse and other things, the ocean becomes volatile.
Okay, so there's the turbulent state. So turbulent state, what made this turbulent ocean not to assume its true nature of the calmness and the serenity? What factor made the ocean not to assume its true nature? Anyone? Quick, anyone?
External factors and internal factors, I think both.
Okay, so which means that Sanjay ji is from NMC or NDC or from Tibet House. Okay, thank you, Sanjay ji. Anyone else? Varsha? Varsha?
No, Geshe, I wanted to answer the previous question. That's when I raised the
Yes,
hand.
yes, previous, yes.
Yes, I wanted to say that in the depths of the ocean, the water is always calm and silent. It's only on the surface that it is turbulent.
Wonderful. So why it becomes turbulent on the surface? Why?
Because of all the external factors like the wind and the rotation of the earth and all these
Wonderful.
factors
Okay,
contribute.
how many agree with Varsha, saying that the turbulence is not the true nature of the ocean, it is created by external factors, other factors. Very good. Okay, I'm glad that all of you agree with Varsha. Thank you. Okay, likewise, our mind. The true nature of mind is extremely beautiful, serene, and calm. Your mind, my mind, the mind of the mind of the dictators, mind of the bodhisattvas, mind of the Buddhas, mind of all the enlightened beings like Jesus Christ, or the demons, everyone, the mind, the true nature of mind is so pure, as Varsha so beautifully explained, that at the base, at the bottom of the ocean, it's always very calm and serene, except when the tsunami happened because of the earthquake, the shaking of the earth. Otherwise, the true nature manifested, you see them manifested at the foundation, at the ground of the ocean. On the surface is being affected by the external wind, and also the what is that? The tide, high tide, low tide, because of the gravitation, the gravitational pull. So the point is that when external factors they come, then the ocean cannot assume its true nature. Its true nature is disrupted. Likewise, the true nature of mind, your mind, my mind, even the worst of the person you consider as a very nasty person, and they all assume the true nature of the mind is extremely calm, beautiful, and if I were to describe it to you, so before I describe it to you, I would ask you, what do you want in your life? What do you want? Then I'm sure that you will all say that, okay, some of you may say that I want peace, I want happiness, I want things, I want to help others. And some people may say that I want money, I want the fame, I want the promotion, I want my startup to go well, and so forth. And I want my children not to fight with me in some cases. So and then if I ask the second question, why do you want money? Why do you want to help others? Why do you want a peace, good family, adventure, so forth? Why? Then the answer would be that gives me happiness. So when it comes to the answer to the first question, it varies. It's divergent. But the second question, a follow-up question to that, all the answers boil down to the same. That will give me happiness or ease. Some people may not be happy with the word happiness. Ease or fulfillment and so forth. And this is something universal. So the point is that true nature of mind, I ask two things. The first thing is that what's the true nature of mind? I said the example that the metaphor that I give you is the extremely vast, beautiful, serene, and the ocean-like. And then what do you want? I want totally free of miseries, and I want the maximum happiness. As my teacher said, that if you don't have miseries, no need of dharma. Likewise, what I want is I want to get away from all the miseries and to have the expansive fulfillment, ease, and happiness. Okay, so now the true nature of mind and what do you aspire? These two things. One is the true nature of mind, which is not, they say, when not affected by external factors. The true nature of mind versus what you seek. What do you seek? The fearlessness, freedom from miseries, and expansive infinite happiness. So these two things actually come together. These two are one. Your true nature of mind is extremely peaceful, calm, serene, fearless, miserylessness, and infinite happiness. This is reality. This is reality. That's the true nature of mind. And why some people, even some scholars, some thinkers, some philosophers, psychologists, they think that the basic human nature is rude. Basic human nature is unkind. That's not true. The true nature of the mind of everyone, not only human beings, even the animals, insects, even they, the true nature of mind is so beautiful. Only when that is affected by the external factors or the factors, the disturbing factors, then it assumes a very different state. For example, say many of us have actually seen the very ferocious waves on the ocean. What's the color of those ferocious waves? It's a little whitish. But whitish, generally speaking, where the water is very clear. But when the waves created, very ferocious waves is created, it becomes whitish. This white color, that is not the true nature of this water. And when the wave subsides, then the water will assume its true color. That is the colorlessness, so clean, crystal clear. It's so beautiful. So likewise, each one of us, the true nature of mind is extremely beautiful. So this is, if you really uncover your true nature, if you really unfold your true nature of your mind, that is enlightenment. That is awakening. That is the state which you aspire, fearlessness and infinite happiness. So if this is the reality, then naturally your question would be, how can we get there? This is your question. How can we get there? Okay, so for that matter, is there anybody who likes to share with us how to get there? If this is our true nature, how to get there? The true nature of our mind versus what we seek. These two are one and the same thing. One and the same thing. That the true nature of mind is fearless nature. The true nature of mind is having expansively infinite happiness. If that's the case, then how to get there? This is the next question. Anybody who wants to share with us how to get there? Anyone? Quick. Okay, if online people, you don't give the answer, then offline they are so aggressive. Huh? Thomas.
By removing the disturbing factors, the factors that disturb the ocean.
Thank you, Thomas. Very good. So in fact, how Thomas approached this question, this is exactly how we all have to do. Let us not make things complicated. So when these questions are asked, always try to deal with the question and then how to connect it to the response. For example, what we said was that what made the mind, what made this ocean very turbulent? If that is not the true nature, what made it turbulent? We said who was that? Varsha, who said that it was the external factors. So if the factors are responsible in creating the turbulence, then remove the factors and will assume the true nature of the ocean. Remove the factors. So this is what Thomas said, and this is exactly what we should be doing. Remove the factors. So what will be the next question? What are the factors and how to remove them? This next question. Okay, so this is something that this is amazing of the text which we are studying, and before we delve into the study of this text, we need to have this background. If we don't have this background, then we will not know how to connect ourselves with this, how to see the relevance of this text with our experience or with our life. So with this in mind, what are the factors which create the mind to be turbulent? And the factors, there is a factor that there are factors. So these factors, are they something you like or you don't like? You don't like them. Why you don't like them? Because these are things which obscure us from assuming our true nature for mind. So they are called as obscurations. These factors are referred to as obscurations. And obscurations, there are two kinds, the gross and the subtle. And the gross one, it is like a solid garlic. Let's say if I don't eat garlic and somebody splashes garlic in my mug, and you come to know that I don't eat garlic, and you say, I'm very sorry, Geshe, then you go and remove the garlic and wash it so well. You wash it so well, and now there's no garlic there. There's no trace of garlic. You smell it, it still smells garlic. So we see that the obscurations, they are of two kinds. One which is gross, like the solid garlic, like the obscurations, and the other, the smell of the garlic, like obscurations. There are two. So the first one, gross one, is referred to as afflictive obscurations, and the second one is known as cognitive obscurations. And of the two obscurations, of course, the gross one is easier to be gotten rid of, and the subtle one is more difficult to be gotten rid of. And if the obscurations is of true nature, the two kinds, the goal that we seek, there are also two kinds. The goal that we seek, or the true nature of mind, is also of two kinds. One is that the true nature of mind is freed of the fears. In other words, the true nature of mind is fearless in nature. The true nature of the mind. Mind is not fearless in nature, our mind, but the true nature of mind is fearless in nature. So that is one aspect. And the other one is your mind experiencing infinite happiness and infinite ease. Of the two, we see that the first one is easier to be attained. The fearlessness is easier to be attained. And why we don't attain that is blocked by the afflictive obscurations, the gross mental defilements. And the other one, the infinite. Say, what is your ultimate goal? Ultimate goal is that I will have the same infinite ease in my life. And I think it was like how many years ago? Oh, I think about like 8 or 9 years ago. I was, say, in Thailand with my friend and his little daughter, who must be age 12 or 13. And my question is that if I were to ask you, what do you want? Ultimately, just tell me, whatever is in your mind, just what do you want? Ultimately, what do you want? If there's a total freedom for you to choose. So I learned one word from this little girl, that we went for a program, and the whole day busy. We came back, and this little girl then told me that, Geshe, now you go and you chill out. I learned this word chill out from this little girl. I said, what is chill out? Right? I learned this girl. So they chill out, right? Finally, what do you want in your life? Or just to chill out infinitely. Infinite ease. This is what I'm seeking. So if there is the ultimate, it is there with you. And there must be some obstructions. If that is your true nature, if it's a part of your true nature of mind, there must be some obstructions which forbids you from experiencing that. That obstruction is known as cognitive obscurations. That obscures us from experiencing that which is actually there within us in the form of true nature of our mind. Okay. Now, if that is the case, now how to remove these obscurations, afflictive obscurations, which is like the salted garlic-like metal obscurations, and the cognitive obscuration, the subtle smell of the garlic-like obscurations. How to get rid of these two things? Okay, so for this, what we need to know is that all these problems, the Buddha identified that all our problems are somehow connected with ignorance. Let me repeat it. Buddha identified that all our problems, be it on the individual level, where you see that, okay, if I eat food, there's a problem. If I don't eat food, there's a problem. If I go with this person, there's a problem. If I go with that person, there's a problem. If I don't go with anybody, there's a problem. So whatever you do, there's a problem. So that problem, again, that's because of the ignorance inside. And then with your family, there's a problem because of the ignorance inside. And then in your community, on the national level, international, wherever you are, there's a problem. So where there's a problem, the driving force is for all these problems is ignorance. But we are encouraged not to blindly believe in this. This is not something that we can understand only through blind faith. No. We learn these things and then we subject them to analysis to see if they make sense. This is so important that we are not to take things blindly. We don't have to follow the dictate of somebody. We learn these things. These are the wisdoms. We learn. At the same time, we have to subject them to analysis, scrutiny, analysis, to see if they actually make sense. That's very important. So in this connection, most of you, I see that you already heard from me many times, but some of you may be hearing this for the first time, that this is something so unique about the Buddha's teachings, where we don't have to follow the dictate of somebody. But don't say that, oh, no, you say something very decisively, no, I don't believe in this. This is your ignorance. This is your problem. Let the person speak. Whether the person said that, no, the reality is not established. There's no reality. Or there is reality. Let the person speak. Why should you be scared of that? Let other people speak, and then use your intelligence to see if what the other person said makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, discard it. If it makes sense, adopt it. As simple as that. Why should we have to be scared? But the point is that don't follow blindly. This is the point. But doesn't mean that you don't listen to any wisdom or any important subjects. For example, like quantum physics or relativity theory. At the time of Newton, these two concepts were unheard of. Newton, who was extremely brilliant, because this piece of information was lacking. However brilliant Newton was, he could not see the possibility to accept quantum physics or relativity theory. So these two information came way later, like 300 years later, with Niels Bohr or the Heisenberg, and because of these people, then the quantum physics came into being. Of course, Einstein also contributed to that, and the relativity theory because of Einstein. So this information came way later after Newton. So although Newton was so brilliant, because the information was not available, he could not get the opportunity to understand what these two concepts are. So he thought that the three laws of motion, they are the ultimate physical laws, but they're not. So likewise for us, just to discard the information, saying that, oh no, I don't trust any information, this is your problem. Wise people will learn the information and then use your intelligence to see if this information makes sense. If it makes sense, these are so precious. If it doesn't make sense, discard them. If it doesn't make sense to you now, it may be because your hardware is very outdated. You may have to upgrade your hardware, your intelligence. You upgrade your hardware, your intelligence is sharpened, and then these concepts may make sense. Quantum theory, relativity theory may make sense to you. Today, it may not make sense. Don't discard them. Some you know that it's wrong. Some you are unaware that it's wrong or right. When you're unaware it's wrong or right, don't discard them. They can be useful later when your hardware is upgraded, your intelligence upgraded. Then these may prove useful. So in this connection, what I'm saying is that it was 2003 that I was in Cambridge, and I used to meet with a lot of physicists and mathematicians. And one of the physicists, he was extremely brilliant. And he, at one point in a conversation, by the way, he was a very difficult person to talk to. Very difficult. You say something, and then they say, if you're a logician, philosopher, it's okay. Otherwise, ordinary people, you talk to him, and he will say, you just utter one sentence, he will say, there's internal contradiction. And you don't dare to speak the second line. So in our conversation, he made a statement, huge statement. He said that in this world, only physics is education. Then I said, why? He said that because only physics allows you to have a critical thinking. All others are imitation of the earlier teachers. Then I said, okay, then wait, just wait and listen to what the Buddha has to say. Then I quoted the Buddha as, the bhikshus and the wise people, just as a goldsmith tests the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing, and burning the gold, you should also examine my words and put them into practice, not simply because you respect me. And he remained silent for a few seconds. And he said, oh, the Buddha must have been a great physicist. Okay, so what I'm saying is that in the teaching, this is the beauty of the Buddha's teachings, where we're encouraged not to follow blindly, but not to blindly discard the very precious the information. You pick this, you learn this information and check for yourself, see if this information makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, if you can disprove the efficacy of these information, discard them. If you cannot disprove, and yet you are not convinced, don't discard them, keep them with you, don't accept them, don't discard them, don't accept them, keep them with you, and let your the intelligence keep growing. Then later on one time, when intelligence is adequately grown, then you again bring back the same information. So sometimes you may be able to say that this is wrong. And sometimes you may be able to say, wow, this is amazing, this is so profound. Okay, so this is the approach. With this in mind, what the Buddha taught is that all our problems, somehow they're connected with the ignorance. And how? This is a very important point. I will not go into detail here because we have only about like 6 hours, total 6 hours for this session, the teaching, the 2 hours each day. So therefore, we don't have much time. And if you're interested, of course, Tibet House, we have the Nalanda Master's course, and now very soon we're going to introduce the Nalanda Diploma course, which is for one month. No, 1 year. 1 year, 1 year Nalanda Diploma course. So all these topics are being studied in detail. So if you're interested, you can join this course, and the course will be commenced in the month. Now, very soon will be advertised, announced, and the teaching I think, will be commenced in October. Okay, that's for 1 year, 1 year. So with this in mind, if ignorance is related to all the miseries, which means that what makes our mind not to assume its true nature, with absolute tranquility, fearlessness, and so forth, ignorance is responsible. Ignorance or its offshoots or it sustains, like the smell of the garlic. So these are responsible. Somehow ignorance is responsible for this. So what is your job? Your job is to discard this ignorance. For example, if the wind is responsible for the tempest, get rid of the wind and the tempest will subside and the earth, the ocean will assume its true nature of serenity, tranquility, and absolute peace. Get rid of this ignorance. How to get rid of this ignorance? This next question. For this, ignorance by the very definition is a cognitive, the element of the mind, which obscures the vision of the reality. So if this is what ignorance is, which blinds us from having the vision of the reality, the counterforce should be the wisdom. Say you're in dark, you want to read a book. So what do you do now? If there's no power, there's no light, and you want to read a book, what do you do? Then you pray to Buddha. Buddha, please remove the darkness. If the Buddha is sitting next to you, Buddha will be very upset. What a stupid follower. Whereas if you light a candle, Buddha will be very happy. This is a wise person. So the point is that they say in order to get rid of a problem, you must introduce a counterforce, not any other, the force, but a counterforce, which is powerful enough, which is directly in opposition with the negative force which you want to get rid of. So what is that counterforce? Just for the darkness, it is the light. It is only through introducing light that the darkness can be eradicated. Likewise, it is only through introducing the light of the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eradicated. So next question. What is that wisdom? This question. So this wisdom, to make it very quick, and I see that many of you are already familiar with all these topics, Bodhicitta retreat, emptiness, Bodhicitta, Nalanda Master's course, and so forth. Those who are new, I'm going to give a very simple analogy, and then of course, in the course of the next 2 days, we will go a little deeper. Okay, so let's say that say in our day-to-day life, we go through, generally speaking, we go through 3 states of mind. Say the sadness or the negative side of the mind, like depression, anxiety, anguish, sadness, and so forth, versus the opposite of which is very joyful, calm, the calmness, joy, happiness, and so forth. And then the neutral state. Okay, how many agree with me? Raise hands. So in our life, we go through these 3 phases of life. And these 3 phases, we see that these 3 are like the resultant states. So, okay, happy, sometimes for no reason. Sometimes for no reason, you wake up and you feel so gloomy, so sad. There's a deep sadness. And you just examine what that reason, what the factor is, what that reason is. You cannot really identify the reason. You feel so deeply sad, hopeless, right? You don't even have to say, although physically you are very fresh, but mentally you are so down. How many of you had that experience? Raise hands. Raise hands. How many of you had that experience? Okay. Yes. So this is something which is quite painful. When we go through this phase, and then you don't like to talk to anybody else. You see, even look at the tree. The tree is also very sad. And the other people also, they're also very sad. You have to look at the Coca-Cola, it's also very sad. The flower, everything is very sad. The room, usually people say that, oh, it's a dim light, right? Dim light means very sad. Everything is so sad, right? And a very bright light, oh, it's exposing my sadness. This bright light, too bright to expose my sadness. Is dim light very sad? Dim light itself very sad. So it happens. So these are all the resultant states. And the some other times you feel so light. There's a feeling of lightness there, and then everything is beautiful. They say a leaf dropped, a leaf is the leaf is on even this is very aesthetic. Everything is so aesthetically beautiful. Everything, right? That's also, and then sometimes very neutral. Some people, I would say that it happens to many people. Rich, poor, educated, uneducated, they say that life is very boring, which means that it's very neutral. They don't see anything the exciting. So we go through these three phases of life. And now, what triggers these three different phases of life? For example, when you are angry, that is the active state. You are deliberate when you are in the grip of the anger, then you deliberately try to make it more vigorous. So that's active state. And what is the mental state, the resultant state like? Unhappiness. And where is compassion, gratitude? For example, children feeling expressing gratitude to one's parents. So there, what's that like? When you feel this, when you have a sense of gratitude, what's that like? Gratitude is a mental state, and it gives you a calmness for mind. So we see that within the mind, we go through these three phases of life, these three phases of a mind in the 24, the waking state. And these are triggered by some other mental states. So what triggers these factors, these states are known as the causal mental states. And what is triggered? These are the resultant states of our mind. So we see that we are happy, we feel light, you feel like going out. Even a neighbor, you just feel like talking, or a cat, dog, you just feel like petting. So the other days, even your children, your parents, your husband, wife, they talk to you, good morning, and you say good morning. Right, so there's no mood there. You don't. There's no like they say they drive from inside you to talk nicely. So these are the mental states that we're going through, and we see that and then how do you decide? Who decides that you're going to have the nice mental state or unpleasant mental states? Who decides? Well, tomorrow I'm going to have a pleasant mental states or unpleasant mental states. You want pleasant mental states, but how many of you will have pleasant mental states for the next 10 years? For the next 10 years, we cannot say that. We cannot say that. So therefore, who decides? This is the question. So don't forget this question. This is a very serious question. So with this in mind, the next is that if you dream, I'm sure that if I ask you, who likes to have a dream of His Holiness the Dalai Lama inviting you for a cup of tea? Who likes to have this dream, raise hands? Who likes to have this dream, His Holiness, Anna Greg inviting all the participants of this teaching for an audience with His Holiness. And then he says, Anna Greg, why not we have a cup of tea with me? All the participants to have a cup of. Okay, and the Anna Greg is so happy, and we are all very happy. How many of you like to have this dream tonight, raise hands? Okay, very good. Okay, how many of you will have this dream tonight, raise hands? How many who will have dream? Okay. The Abhinav, you are going to have this dream tonight? You're going to have this dream tonight, or you like to have this dream tonight? Abhinav?
I would like to have it, but who knows whether I have it or whether I'll remember that I had it.
So my second question, you did not hear my second question well. You heard the first question, you did not hear the second question. Second question is, who will have this dream tonight? You got it? Okay. Why not? Why not? The dream is this amazing dream. Why not? You're not going to have this dream tonight. Why not? Anyone? Why not going to have this dream? It's very nice dream. Huh? Alexia? Why not you are not going to have this dream tonight? Why not?
It's beyond my control, Sheila.
Yes. So how many agree with Alexia? I cannot control my dream. I cannot control my dream. Okay. I cannot control my dream. Likewise, I cannot control my next 10 years. What kind of mental experience I will go through in the next 10 years, I cannot control. The dream I cannot control. Right? I cannot choose my dream. So I have no control over the dream. I don't have the freedom to choose the dream. I don't have the freedom. Lack of freedom. Lack of freedom is misery. Misery is samsara. Let's not forget it. So the dream, however pleasant the dream is, there's one element that you don't have the freedom to choose this dream. How many agree with me, Resens? No matter how pleasant the dream is, one element of that is that you don't have the freedom to choose the dream. So one element of that is that you have lack of the freedom to choose the dream. Lack of freedom is misery. So this pleasant dream is tainted with misery, lack of freedom. And on top of that, it is tainted with ignorance, believing the dream is real. How many agree with me, raise hands? So the dream, the problem with the dream is twofold. One is that it is tainted with ignorance, believing the dream is real. And some of you may think that, with the dream, that sometimes I have lucid dreams where I know that I'm dreaming. I don't believe the dream is real. Yes, it does happen once in a while, but majority, 90%, if not 98%, 99%, 90% of our dreams is where we believe the dream is real. That is ignorance. In other words, the 24/7, they say that the dream all along, the dream is tainted with ignorance and lack of freedom. These two things. So ignorance is a causal factor. Lack of freedom is the resultant state. You don't want to have the lack of freedom. You want to have the freedom. For example, when you watch television, who likes to keep the remote control in your hand? Or who likes to keep the remote control in the hand of your little brother, who always likes to watch cartoon, and you don't want to watch cartoon? I want to keep the remote control in the brother's hand. Raise hands. Oh, no, I want to keep the remote control myself. Raise hands. Oh, you good. So you want to keep the remote control in your hand. Why? Keeping the remote, why? Anyone? Why? Raise hands. Why you want to keep the remote control in your hand and not want to give it to your brother, to your little brother? Quick. Someone? Okay. VK. Liket. Wicked. Wicked, you are there? You can unmute yourself. Wicked. Okay, or our Prum Koneri, he read your name wrongly. There's no Wicked actually. Wicked. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Yes, Geshe,
Okay, it doesn't matter. Yes.
Yes, Geshe, I'm here. I was just going back to the toilet for a while.
Okay.
I missed the question.
Wicked. Okay, the question is, okay, so I don't know how our program coordinator identified you when you were. So the question is, okay, what is the question? What's the question? Okay, why do we need the remote control? Why do you want to keep the remote control yourself? And you don't want to give the remote control in the hand of your little brother who always wants to watch the cartoon.
We don't want to be controlled by others.
Yes, we don't want to control. We don't want to lose control. So the dream, the problem is that you don't have the freedom to choose. You don't have the control to choose the dream. So loss of control is there. Loss of control is misery. And the other element is that you believe the dream is real. That is ignorance. That's the causal state, and loss of control is the resultant state. So now how to get out of this problem of the dream? Anyone? Quick. Quick. Anyone? Quick. Okay. Asikibala?
Wake up from the dream.
To wake up from the
Wake up. Wake up from the sleep of ignorance. Wake up from sleep. So this is how we can get away from the problem of the dream. No matter how pleasant the dream is, we still have the problem of the loss of freedom, because we have no freedom to choose a dream. Or on top of that, we are inflicted by the ignorance, believing the dream is real. So how to get away from this problem is wake up. Wake up. Now, this is going to be the juncture, the point of the linking point between what we are, the introductory, the talk, and the main text. This is a linking point. Wake up. Okay. How does waking up help us to be free from this, the problem of the dream? How does it help us? This next question. For this, what I'd like to share with you is that in the dream, what's the problem? You see the dream as real. Okay. Say, to make it very simple, say that you have a very scary dream. You have a nightmare, very scary dream. And how to free yourself from this nightmare? Wake up. Okay, anyone, very quickly, please tell me how, for you, waking up helps you from the fear of the nightmare. How did it help you? Anyone who likes to volunteer? Raise hands. Okay, Tenzing Angela.
We realize that the dream is not real.
We realize that the dream is not real. Okay, how many agree with Tenzing Angela? Raise hands. Good. Which means that what Tenzing Angela and all of you are saying is that the dream, in the dream, the problem is you see the dream as real. But when you wake up, you're the same person. You're the same person. You must have the fear of the dream continuously when you wake up. No, when you wake up, the fear dissolves. In the dream, the fear increased. When you wake up, the fear dissolves. Now, my question to you is, why the fear dissolved when you wake up? Anyone? Chola Kamapisula? We cannot hear you, Chola Kamapisula. Okay, so if you have a headphone, then you can remove that connection and talk to your computer directly. Okay, still we cannot hear you. Never mind. Okay, now let's move to Abhinav. Abhinav, you tell me.
So we come to the reality, we get to this reality that this was a dream, and now I'm not in the dream, I'm on my bed.
Okay, so the dream is not real.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of not real?
Real.
The real.
Yeah.
That's it. So you discover the reality.
Yeah, that I'm sleeping
Okay.
or I'm in my bed. Yeah, and that is not true.
Okay.
This is true.
Okay, so in a way, what Abhinav is saying is that in the dream, you see the dream as real. And when you wake up, you see the dream as not real, it's come from your mind. How many agree with Abhinav? Raise hands. Okay, from this, we are being introduced to another concept that is subjective and objective. Meaning that when we see in the dream, we see the dream as objectively real. When you wake up, we see that the dream is not real. It's not objectively real. It's just your mental creation. Your mind is subject. It's subjective creation. How many of you agree with me now? Raise hands. Okay, good. In the dream, we see the dream as objectively real. And what's the outcome? Outcome is the fear. And seeing the dream as objectively real is ignorance or wisdom? Is ignorance. And the outcome is fear. So ignorance gives rise to fear. When you wake up, you see that the dream is not objectively real. It's subjectively created. It's subjectively imputed. Is empty of objective reality. That discovery, seeing the dream as empty of objective reality, that is wisdom or ignorance. That is wisdom. And what's the outcome? The fear dissolves. So from this metaphor, we come to learn that ignorance, it gives rise to fear. Just in the dream, you believe in the nightmare, the contents of nightmare as object real, and the fear arose. You wake up, you come to see the contents of the nightmare is empty of objective reality, the wisdom is born, and the fear dissolves. So the point is that what we need to learn is that we need to learn how to see the waking up, how waking up helps us to be free from the fear of nightmare. Is waking up, we come to discover that the dream is empty of objective reality. If this is how it helps, the Buddha taught that not only dream, everything is empty of objective reality. Nothing exists as objectively real. Everything is empty of objective reality. Wow, this is amazing. Then we are waking up from the sleep of both the dream and non-dream. So in other words, we see that Buddha is in a way telling us that you can get rid of all your problems because all the problems are in one of the two dreams, either in the conventional dream or in the unconventional dream. All your problems, either in the conventional dream or in the unconventional dream. The problems in the conventional dream, you overcome this by waking up from the conventional dream every day. Every day you wake up and the nightmare of that particular dream or that night, it stops. But we have never woken up from the unconventional dream. And if there's somebody here who has already woken up from the unconventional dream, I'm sure that you will not come to attend this class. And if you still come, you just came to check on me to see whether he is teaching properly or not. You came to check on me. Okay. So what I'm saying is that if you're woken up, then your problem's over. The nightmare of the conventional dream and the nightmare of the unconventional samsaric dream all will stop. So the Buddha taught that everything is either real dream or like a dream. Wake up from both the dreams. So this is the message. So what do you mean by waking up? Discover that nothing objectively real. Waking up means discover that nothing exists objectively. Okay, so having said this, let's go to the text. Okay, this text is a short text, is extremely important text, very beautifully written, and written by the author, the most venerable master, Dorji, and who happened to be in the early 18th century. He was born in around 1717, and this short composition was made. He wrote this composition when he was in the Vedashan shrine, or Vedashan, the sacred site in China. He went to China from Tibet, and he composed it there, and because that place, that holy site, is revered as the sacred place of Arya Manjushri. Arya Manjushri revered as the Buddha of wisdom, or Bodhisattva of wisdom. And this is what he composed as the extempore composition. So it says, recognize the mother. The mother here refers to the ultimate reality, that nothing exists objectively, empty of objective reality, which we are to discover. When you wake up, we discover that the dream was actually empty of objective reality. So empty of objective reality is the reality of the dream. That is referred to as the mother. Recognize this, and you are liberated. You are liberated from the fears of the dream. Recognize the mother. A song on experience of the middle way view. Middle way here means a way or a system which frees you from the two extremes, and thereby allowing you to follow the middle way. The two extremes, extreme of absolutism and extreme of nihilism or nihilism. So it says, Emaho, he who reveals in bare the wonder of profound dependent arising nature. The emptiness means emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. Emptiness of objective existence. Now that we already introduced to the basic the introductory the concept, we know what emptiness is. Emptiness doesn't mean nothing exists. It simply says nothing exists objectively. Subjectively, things exist. Everything exists subjectively, nothing exists objectively. So if you discover this, you wake up from the sleep of ignorance. Waking up from the sleep of ignorance is wisdom, and the opposite of which is the ignorance. And the ignorance the Buddha taught as a final, say, the factor which binds us in samsara, which binds us in the dream of samsara. He referring to his teacher, who reveals in bare the wonder of profound dependent arising, emptiness, and the other side of which is dependent arising or dependent origination. This is a matter of English translation. Dependent origination or dependent arising. And these two things are to be seen as two sides of the same coin. Emptiness and dependent origination. So let me quickly explain this because this intro explanation can be very helpful for us to follow the rest of the text. When we talk about emptiness, to discover the reality that nothing exists objectively, when we talk about this, what we need to know is that we need to, first of all, be asked two questions. We need to get the proper answer to the two questions. First question is, do things exist? Do things exist? Answer is yes. If you say no, everything is empty, you fall into nihilism. There's no emptiness. You fall into nihilism. Only if you say that, yes, everything exists. You do bad things, you will suffer. You do good things, you'll be happy. Be compassionate, you are a very happier person. Now, don't be a selfish person. Selfishness will only give you miseries. Cause and effect. Yes, these are all so efficacious, so infallibly operating. They're operating in the conventional world. These are undeniable facts, undeniable reality. Yes, they do exist. If your answer is affirmative to the first question, then you are entitled to go for the second question. Second question is, do things exist objectively? So what we have thus far said is that no, nothing exists objectively. Everything is either dream or like dream. Conventional dream is dream. Unconventional dream is like dream. They are not dream, they are like dream. In what way like dream? Just as a dream exists subjectively, everything exists subjectively, nothing exists objectively. So this is the framework that we need to be aware of. Second question, do things exist objectively? If the answer is yes, you fall into absolutism. You fall into the extreme of absolutism. You're not into emptiness. So only when you free yourself from the two extremes, extreme of the free yourself from the extreme nihilism by by giving the correct answer to the first question, and being free from the second extreme of absolutism by giving the correct answer to the second question, you're free from two extremes. Being free from two extremes is following the middle way. Okay. So now the next says that I said that emptiness and dependent origination, these are the two sides of the same coin. So this is something which we'll discuss more in detail in the tomorrow's class. And as of now, here what we said is that emptiness and dependent. Emptiness is not nothing, or nothing, not to say that everything is empty. Things exist, but things don't exist independently. Things exist dependently. So dependent arising or dependent origination and emptiness, these two mean the same. O my Guru, your kindness is indeed boundless. Kindly recite my heart as I utter these extemporaneous words from the thoughts flashing in my mind. The flash in my mind, this hapless child who lost his old mother refers to the emptiness, reality. And okay, so we see things objectively. Look at things around you. Look at the things around you and how do they appear to you? There's objective real, or like your mind is creating it's like a dream that your mind is creating a dream. How do things appear to you? Okay, of course, say objectively. Okay, my next question to you is that when do things appear as objectively real? 1 hour in a day, or in the mornings, or in the evenings? When? Abhinav, when? When do things appear as objectively real?
All the time.
In the mornings or in the evenings? Huh?
All the time.
All the time, 24/7. Very good.
Yeah.
So, and yet this is not the reality. This is that you live in the dream, and in the dream, you don't see the reality. Say the dream lasts for 1 hour. For 1 hour, you are being deceived by the dream. Deceived meaning that it presents itself so like it is the objective real, but in reality, it is empty of objective reality. So we don't really see the reality. 24/7, we don't see the reality. While the reality is empty of objective reality, we see things as objective real. This is ignorance. So we don't see the mother. Mother refers to the ultimate reality. We don't see the mother. We have lost the mother. Number two, this hapless, unfortunate child, referring to yourself as the hapless or the unfortunate child, unfortunate in ways that not being able to wake up, being driven slave of the dream. The hapless child who lost his old mother. Was the mother? The empty of objective reality, emptiness. Who lost his old mother, because we see the opposite of emptiness. So therefore you lost the emptiness, you lost the reality, you lost the old mother so long ago. Is about to realize coincidentally what he has not recognized, that she has been with him all along. Okay, so let's say that you are in a dream for like 2 hours. 2 hours you're in a dream, and 2 hours you see the dream is real. But the reality of the dream is that dream is not real. So for how long are you with this reality of the dream? That the dream is empty of being objectively real? How long?
I've just sent a message through. They've just lost connectivity. Hang in there.
Yeah, we have a slight connectivity issue right now, so we'll just try to sort it out. Till then, we are really sorry for the inconvenience caused.
Okay, thank you. So what we are saying, okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The question is that if you have a dream for like 2 hours, all these 2 hours, the say one, the true nature of the dream, the reality of the dream, that dream being empty of objective reality, versus the fake nature of the dream, that the dream being objectively real. Two, so you in the dream, you do not see the reality of the dream, you see the fake nature of the dream. But the reality of the dream, is that with you for 5 minutes or 1 hour, or is not with you? The true nature of the dream, that dream is empty of the objective reality. Anyone? 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 Raise hands, raise hands. Okay, Thomas?
In reality, the dream has always lacked the objective nature.
So you are with that dream, the true nature of the dream, you are with that true nature of the dream all these 2 hours. But you fail to see that. It is there with you, but you fail to see that. How many agree with Thomas? Raise hands. It's there with you, but you fail to see that. Okay, likewise, each one of us, we are with the mother, emptiness of objective reality, all along, all these, let's say, we've been dreaming since time immemorial till now, and will continue until we put effort to understand emptiness. So all these, all along, all these innumerable lifetimes, then we are in this dream, but the reality of the dream, that dream being empty object reality, is the mother, is the metaphor. The mother is the metaphor for that. So you have been with this mother all along, but you fail to see this reality of the dream. So this is, text. So the text says, okay, this hapless child who lost his old mother so long is about to realize coincidentally that he has not recognized that she has been with him all along. Who she? The metaphorical mother, which is the reality of the phenomena, emptiness of objective reality. That is something which we have been always together, but we fail to see that. Number 3, she is perhaps the one that is and is not, as told to me quietly by my brother, the dependent arising. The diverse subject-object duality is my mother's benign smile, the cycle of birth and death, her deceptive words. Okay, this is extremely beautiful. So now here there is the metaphor, the metaphor of the brother. The brother here refers to dependent origination, and the mother refers to the emptiness, ultimate reality, and the father refers to the object, conventional object, on the basis of which you understand emptiness. In other words, the basis of emptiness. For example, we say emptiness of the flower. So flower is the metaphor for the father here. The flower, and emptiness of the flower is the mother. And dependent origination is the brother. So these 3 things we need to remember. Okay, so we'll stop this teaching here, and I'd like to invite some questions. And we'll continue tomorrow. Please raise hand. Okay, Anna Greg, what's your plan?
Yes, Geshe, I think just this evening, if anyone can put their hands up. I have names here, but maybe the Australians, if we can give an opportunity first, and then maybe tomorrow and the following day, if you would like to email me questions, I can gather them together for Geshe to make that a little bit easier. But for tonight, just put your hand up.
Okay, yes. So there's one, Neely Portugal.
Just the one?
There's one with the virtual hand coming up from Neely Portugal. Neely, yes.
Hi, can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Hi, Portugali. Anyway, you said at the beginning, can you hear me? It's okay now?
Yes, 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 we can hear you.
Thank you. You said at the beginning that the sort of turbulence, what you said of the ocean, or the turbulence within ourselves, is generated by external factors, you know, like the wind in the ocean, which makes the waves, etc., and all kind of external factors which we don't really have control on. So in that sense, we can say, you know, it's an objective thing. How does it fit with the understanding that, you know, what we see is really a dream, and in order to get rid of, you know, all this turbulence, we have to wake up. For me, it's a bit of contradiction, but of course, maybe I don't understand.
Very good. Thank you, Neely. Thank you. In fact, if you could remember that when I began my talk, what I said, at times I use the word external factors, but this is very rarely used. What I said is that this wave is created by the factors. Factors responsible for creating these waves. I did not use the word external factors too much. This is being recorded. You can revisit the recording. These are the nuances. Same. The factors responsible for creating these waves. So what are the factors? All along we've been identifying the factors, and we said finally it is ignorance. And ignorance is not outside. It is within us. Because it is within us, we can manage it. If it is not within us, it's very difficult. Then we can become we can feel hopelessness. But given that the factors all somewhat connected with ignorance, and ignorance luckily is not outside, it is within us. We can put effort to get rid of this ignorance. How to get rid of this ignorance? Wake up. How to wake up? This is what we are learning. This is what connects us to this text. Very good, Nelly. Thank you. Next question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question. Then if there's no hands coming up, then okay. Vikit?
Yes, Geshe. It's on verse number 3. It says, she is perhaps the one that is and is not. Is it correct to say or interpret this is and is not as in conventional and ultimate things?
Very good question. We're yet to do that. So this I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow. If you want me to do it today, I'll do it. So is and is not. It is, let's say that the, for example, let's say that, okay, this is a clock. This is a clock. Actually, this is not dream. It's dreamlike. This clock is dreamlike. How? In ways, just as dream comes by the power of your mind, is projected by your mind. This clock also comes by the power of your projecting mind. And how? It's really there, externally there. Don't worry, this is what we have to discuss more. Okay, if this exists by the power of the projected mind, like a dream, then the next question is that when you look at this, what is this? we'll say that it is a clock. It is. It is a clock. So is and is not. It is a clock. But if I ask the next question, which is the clock? This one. This is just the cover. It's not the clock. The cover. Cover is not the clock. Then go objectively closer to the object. Then you see that there's no clock. There is not. Superficially, we see a clock. Undeniably, we see a clock there. Then when you go in the ultimate analysis, you go closer to the object, then the clock disappears. It's not. You're getting it? So it's like illusion. Illusion is visible from distance. When you go closer towards the illusion, illusion disappears. So this is what Nagarjuna taught in Precious Garland, that if the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Let me repeat it. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Say, if you see me in water from distance, from 1 kilometer away from me, if you see me in water, and you're wondering, is he really in water or what I'm seeing is a mirage? Okay, my question to you, how will you evaluate? How will you evaluate that whether or not I'm in water? Okay, who's that? Yanti? Huh? Okay, Yanti? How do you evaluate?
Oh, no, sorry. I have a question, not to answer.
Yes. Okay, then your question next. Let me first finish this. Anyone? Okay, Tanja?
You will look closer. You will come closer.
Come closer from where where appear this water, or where you appear me in the water. You come closer. Coming closer, when you come too close to me, you see that everything is dry. There's nothing really water there. Then you will conclude that what I earlier saw was my mental projection, subjective projection. It's not from the object. It was a mirage. It's not a real water. From distance, I see water there. But by close, water disappears. Is water and it's not water. Is water from distance. Nearby, no water. Is and is not. This is the indication that objectively it is empty. This is the mother's reality, mother's face. Okay, Yanti?
How to wake up?
Oh, that's a good question. How to wake up? Okay, how to wake up? Oh, we have to study this text. Study this text as a trailer. And then after the trailer, then you have to study Acharya Chandrakirti's text. Acharya Chandrakirti's text, Madhyamika Avatara. And where do we go? Then join Nalanda Master's course, Nalanda Diploma course. You're getting it? How to wake up. This is extremely important, right? How to wake up so that our problems will stop. And we spend a lot of time, energy, resources. When you have some mental problem, you go to the psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, psychotherapist. So to solve our problems. And these are all temporary measures. Now this is a long-term measure. Long-term measure. Of course, it'll take more time. It requires more systematic approach. So for that matter, see the text that the Anna Gregg chose for this teaching, this did the trailer for us, movie trailer. So after this, then go into the main movie, which is Acharya Chandrakirti's text, entry into the middle way. And then you will discover that okay, this is how I should wake up. Yes. Yes, Yanti?
Is putting a first step of acceptance mean a first step of waking up? Because acceptance is a big jump in
acceptance. Acceptance meaning?
I mean, I was asking how to wake up, we already know, we all know that when we come to something, wake up, so is subjective, not objective. We all know that, textbook and everything like that. So I'm struggling when.
Are you sure you know that?
Like if I
every-
accept something, is that the first step of waking up? Because I reckon acceptance can open so many pathway. Give you
In fact,
the
I would
first.
say, in a way, what Yanti said is very true. That waking up, it is not like instant waking up. Although sometimes there's a mention of the spontaneous instant awakening. So these are for people who already they practice the Dharma for so long in the past lives. For them, instant awakening can happen. For us, it's not possible. For us, we have to take the safe steps. Take safe steps for the awakening. Then they say to know that nothing is objectively, everything comes from your mind. When do you know this? Do you know this in the dream or when you wake up? That the dream is coming from your mind. The dream is not real. When do you know that? In the dream or wake up? Only when you wake up, you know that. In the dream, you see dream as real. So we learn all these things. We learn all these things. Still we are under the sway of the emotions, fear, anxiety, stress, and so forth. So how to manage this? Because it takes time, we require two measures. One is a long-term measure, and the other one is the immediate measure. Immediate measure for, say, the short-term measure to quell problems. For example, if I have a severe stomach ache, and then due to whatever severe problems, if the pain is so acute, I have to take paracetamol. But this is not a long-term solution. It's a short-term solution. So acceptance is a short-term solution. Short-term solution, but it can help us greatly. So for acceptance, as I say in the dream, for example, say in the dream, somebody punches you, right? Somebody punches Yanti. Somebody comes to punch you, right? Okay, now I can't do anything. So even if punch you, I have to bear it. So I have to accept it. No, wake up. You accept it, you will not feel too much irritated. This is good. Instead of trying to fight, and the person will beat you even more in the dream. So whereas we just passively remain and then let the person, okay, now I can't do anything, I have to accept it. So that way, your irritation will be less. But still, there is a solution there. The solution is wake up. Why you have to even receive the punch? Wake up, you will not even have to receive the punch. So for that, it's a long-term solution. It's not a short-term solution. So long-term, we need two plans. Long-term solution to wake up fully so that you will not be affected by any, you don't have to say, I have to acceptance. No, you don't accept, right? Why should you have to accept miseries? You don't accept miseries. The Buddha taught how to reject all forms of miseries. But keep in mind that this is a long-term plan. So for the short-term plan, we need to take the necessary, for example, like the Buddha taught, all composite things are impermanent. So Buddha didn't say that wake up and your problem is over. Buddha said this long-term, but short-term, remember that all composite things are impermanent. Even your near and dear ones, they will leave you. You will also leave them. They will leave you. This is reality. Then with this, and then the acceptance comes. Okay, I will accept this. But when you wake up, even this acceptance is also not joyfully doing it. You are not joyfully doing it. But when you wake up, there's a tremendous outburst of joy. Stop all the miseries. You don't have to even desperately say that I have to accept things.
But it seems
okay, next
very
question.
difficult, like how part of life we will be waking up, because
that's
that
true.
is so
That's
difficult.
yes. Yeah, that's a good question.
That's
right?
why
It's
we
difficult. It'll take a long
humans
time.
might be born in
Okay,
in a lower
yes.
realm.
So in fact, one time we had doing Bodhicitta retreat. There was one lady who attended the retreat, and we did how to wake up, how to expand your heart, compassion. We studied all these things, practice, and the lady was practicing consistently for a few months. And then one day, she came to me and said that, Geshe, your meditation emptiness is so beautiful when I'm in a peaceful state, mental state. When I'm in a difficult situation, the meditation doesn't work. Emptiness meditation doesn't work. So I said that, how long have you practiced the meditation emptiness? How long have you studied the emptiness? 10 years or 20 years? She says, no. How long? Then 5 years? No. 1 year? No. Then how long? She said, 1 week. You're getting it? Then I said that, okay, this is a trailer. Trailer is not the main movie, right? Then you have to study more, practice more. Then she said, what should I study? I said, study Acharya Chandrakirti's text, Entering the Middle Way. And she said, how long? I said, minimum 2 years. And she said, ayo, like what you said, long, very long. It take a long time. Ayo. I said, I'll give you 2 choices. 2 years ayo or lifelong ayo. You choose. You're getting it? These are the only 2 choices. 2 years ayo or lifelong ayo. You carry your tumor or you bear the surgery pain and remove the tumor. You have to bear the pain. Or you carry the tumor with you. You don't have to bear the pain of the cut, but you have to die very quickly. Right?
So does it mean,
these are 2 choices.
so does it mean for like on tonight at the moment with Geshe, we all in a one group. We have this opportunity to learn Dharma, and not necessarily all of us will observe it or absorb it very well. So does it mean for anyone who actually don't have this opportunity, they will never wake up? Not they will. I shouldn't say they will never, but there's no the opportunity. Like it's very difficult. Even for us, it's hard for us to wake up. For
No.
someone who
First,
actually not,
okay. Did you notice that when you go to the say, are you waking up or not waking up?
I know how to wake up, but sometimes the stubbornness
No.
doesn't
This is not
want
my
me to wake
question.
up.
Have you woken up or not yet?
I think I do.
You're
Well,
already
I
woken up.
I mean, I wake up, then I fall again, and then I, like back down
Which means
and
you're
up.
not
Down
waking
and
up. Which
Hey,
means you are not
halfway.
waking up. You are not waking up. You're getting it?
Okay.
So therefore, before you talk about other people, first take care of yourself. Did you ever flew aeroplane? Did you
I
ever
fly my own plane?
took a flight? Aeroplane? Did you
Yeah.
ever take a flight?
Yeah.
Yes. So did you see the air hostess saying that first put the mask on yourself first before you take care of the other people. You're getting it? First, do it yourself. Don't talk about other people. Then there's no chance. Yes, chance. No, first take care of yourself. Then you will become like His Holiness the Dalai Lama to take care of the millions of people. You can do that. So become like His Holiness the Dalai Lama yourself first. Then you can help millions and millions. People just see the face of His Holiness, they run into tears. There's some transformation happens within the people. Then he says something. In fact, Nalanda studies, there are so many people who are joining now. They're joining. And how they join? Not because that, oh, Tibet House, Nalanda. No, they're inspired by His Holiness's advice. His Holiness is so special. Just to see his face, there's such a joy coming in my mind. I never had this joy before. Everybody feels like crying. And then you just feel like listening to him. And he says that, change your mind, be compassionate, you'll be happy, be sensible, generate your wisdom to dispel the ignorance, and you'll become confident, right? Look, all these words of compassion, words of wisdom coming from His Holiness, who you love so much. So therefore, then you say, where to study this, right? And then Tibet House announces, Nalanda studies, then you join. Right? Not that Tibet House is first, then His Holiness comes second. His Holiness comes first, and then you come with the Nalanda studies. So first become yourself working up. and then become like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then benefit the million. For example, like 2,500 years ago, a Prince Siddhartha came, and he was awakened, he was enlightened, he was referred to as the fully awakened one. Now, 2,500 years later, how many people, how many human beings, non-human beings, they're being benefited by his teachings. His Holiness is the direct product of this teaching of the Buddha Shakyamuni. You also become one like him, and then inspire many. This is so important. So first, put the mask on yourself, put the oxygen mask to yourself, and then help others. This is a message I learned from the aeroplane. Okay, next question. Next question. Okay, so offline we have here Nicola. Okay, Nicola is asking if everything is mental projection. Answer is yes.
How can such a deluded mind as mine project such perfect beings as His Holiness, for example?
Okay, so the point is that, for example, okay, what the Nicola asked, the online you did not hear because they put it on the mute. Our program coordinator, he put it on mute and then showed it to Nicola. Okay, never mind. Right? So what Nicola is asking is that our deluded mind, if everything is projection for our own mind, then how can our deluded mind project such a perfect being as His Holiness the Dalai Lama? Okay, there are two things. Projecting as His Holiness, say, for example, let's say, okay, let's say that Mount Kailash, and let's say it's a extremely beautiful, crystal clear, spick and span clean, white snow mountain. And two people look at this. One, a very young child, maybe age 10 to 15, where the eyesight is extremely clear, looks at it. And we, somebody who is in 40s, 50s, look at it. We are looking at the same object, perfectly clean snow. But how we see, there's a difference. We see how the child how this young child sees, and how we see is different. How the young child sees, the clarity is there. In our perception, there's no clarity there. So the reality is that we are projecting a not clear Mount Kailash. And we are projecting His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Our diluted perception is mixed there. Okay, this is a very important point to keep in mind. And of course, alongside, there are some factual matters which are a little complicated at the moment to discuss, or later on, maybe the third day, or if you want to join the Nalanda studies, and then all these complicated topics, the obviously not complicated, nuanced topics can be discussed all along. Yes. Okay, next question. Okay, if not, then Anna Greg will stop here. If no question, or is there any written question coming? No written question. Okay.
No written question now. Tomorrow
Okay.
we'll collect. Yep.
Okay. Okay, then the Anala, what we'll do is we'll do end direction prayer, which Yenla will be requested to do.
Yes.
Screen sharing.
Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe. Let's dedicate You are the all-happy good. All-powerful Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Brave my this way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these fruits of virtue with the dedication praised as the best, where all the Buddhas appear in the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Changchup Sem Chok Rinpoche, Ma Ke Pa Nam Ke Gyuru Chik, Ke Pa Nyam Pa Me Pa Yang, Kong Ne Kong Tu Pel Var Shok. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the mysteries of the world. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I, in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path: renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view, and the 2 stages. May sentient beings again and again make offerings to all the Buddhas, and may they constantly be joyful with the inconceivable bliss of the Buddhas. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. Let's recite the Heart Sutra mantra 3 times. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhi Soha Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhi Soha Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhi Soha. Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Tibet House, and thank you, everyone. Good night and see you tomorrow.
Thank you. And just a quick announcement that if
May I request
anyone
everyone
does,
to kindly offer 3 prostrations along with Venerable Geshe before we conclude the session. Thank you.
thank you, everyone. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but if anyone does have any compelling questions that come to them overnight, if you'd like to send an email to me up to an hour before the teaching tomorrow, and I can collate these for Geshe. I'll put my email in the chat in a moment in case you don't have it, but it's the one that you would have received when you registered. So Geshe very kindly offers us the opportunity to ask any other pressing questions that we might have as well. So if something does come to you, please send it through, and we will make the most of the opportunity tomorrow evening after the teachings to do that. Have a wonderful day for those of you who are in the right time zone, and night for those of you who are just about to go to bed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Anala.
Thank you,
Thank
Tibet House.
you,
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks you, Anala.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anila. Thank you,
Okay, see
Geshe.
you.
Thank you, Ravyangla, Tibet House.
Thank you, Geshe. Good night.